to the HR Hot Seat, where we explore the people decisions that shape businesses, careers, and cultures. Today's guest has spent more than 2 decades at the front lines of one of the fastest changing professions in business, recruitment. I'm joined by Karen Epp, Senior Recruiter at Goldbeck Recruiting, where she has spent over 30 years in recruitment. And throughout her career, Karen has partnered with organizations across Canada to build exceptional leadership teams while helping thousands of professionals navigate important moments of their careers. What makes Karen's perspective especially unique is that she's witnessed the recruitment industry evolve through almost every major transformation imaginable, from newspaper advertisements and paper resumes to LinkedIn, virtual interviewing, and now artificial intelligence. And so she's experienced firsthand how technology has reshaped the way organizations find and hire talent. But while the tools have changed dramatically, Karen has also seen something else. Many of the fundamentals of great hiring have remained remarkably consistent. And so today we'll be looking back at how recruiting has evolved, what we've gained along the way, what we've perhaps lost, and what every leader should remember when it comes to hiring great people. Karen, thank you so much for joining me.
Hey, nice to be here, Lisa.
Awesome. Today's going to be such a fun conversation. So why don't we start from the beginning? So Karen, you've been in recruiting for over 30 years. Let's go back to the beginning. So paint us a picture. What did a typical day look like? Like how did you actually find candidates, connect with clients, and fill roles before LinkedIn, job boards, and AI?
Oh, sounds good. Well, first of all, we got up early because we drove in or bussed in, I guess in the early days, SkyTrained in to the office. And everyone was there. And so, of course, the morning coffee and chit chat, and there was a different social aspect to being in the office. It was really sweet. But yes, paper resumes, no online screens checking through resumes. You had a pile you were going to sort through in the morning and flip through and attach them to the different jobs that you were working on. Um, I think one of the things that was really different is how we looked for candidates and how we sourced them. Uh, Again, I was doing at that time lower level accounting placements. And so resumes came in and we would interview candidates, and every candidate had to fill out a long form. And over the years, that form got more detailed. In the early years, it might have been a page and there were check boxes that they checked off. And we always gave them a small card, index size card that they put their name on. And then we had spaces for us to sort of write our notes after the interview. So we get into the office, and those cards were kept in a nice box, and open the box like a recipe box, and we'd flip through. We had them sorted. For some candidates, you might have 3 or 4 cards because they could be a full cycle accountant, but they could go into payroll, or they had some good analyst skills, so you'd want them in that category as well. So a typical day, might be sorting those cards. I often took those cards home at night, though, to do the sort, to figure out who I wanted to see. It just saved time. Another way we found candidates was, was talking to others. You always ask for referrals. You ask for ideas all the time. And there was a man in our office, one of my bosses, and he had an incredible memory. And you had a job and you go, hey, who do you think would be good for this? And he'd walk you over to this long wall of file cabinets and go to the cabinet for accounting in that time. And he'd flip through and he said, try this one. And so memory was a really big piece of our job. You had to remember people. And referring to that file cabinet, I would also, if I was really stumped or I just wanted to refresh myself on candidates, I would stand there and just look at files. And one of the things I note is I'm a visual person, and people would fill out a form and their handwriting would be different and their resume would be attached, and somebody would send their resume on a blue paper and you go, oh yeah, it's that one with that blue paper. And so memory was triggered by different things. And so that wander through the files at the file cabinet, you'd open their file and different things would come back to you, personality even from the handwriting. And so as we shifted into different technology, it took a while to get used to same font. just a checklist. So yeah, a typical day. Everybody came in for interviews, and I felt guilty of those that had to come from far away, but they all came in, and I loved meeting people in person. The handshake, the face to face, you could read body language in a different way, and it was lovely. So your day was packed. You would stay late quite frequently for those that couldn't make it into town to interview after hours, or come in really early for those. So the phone interviews, we had some, and those would be for positions that were outside of the Lower Mainland. So I don't know if that captured it all, but that's a
No,
taste of
that
our,
does.
our
No,
day.
that's great. And as you were talking, it's kind of like taking a look back, going back in time, right? And I'm just
Yes.
kind of visualizing when you say you're going to the cabinets, looking through each file, and especially with technology these days, companies are using ATS tracking systems, also known as applicant tracking systems, to actually decline and filter out those resumes that are funny fonted or in colors, right? And so it's actually the quite opposite, as you were mentioning, because if there was a blue resume, that would be something that would have stood out to you, or a different type of font.
You'd remember people different
Yeah,
from
yeah,
those
for
things.
sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, Karen, if you compare recruiting in the late 1980s or early 1990s to today, what's the biggest difference you would say that immediately comes to mind?
Well, I think it's been a gradual change over the years, and I think recruitment has sped up our services. As fax came in, we had to be faster at getting the resumes out than and now even faster with email. And so things sped up. That was the transition I really noticed. Now, in the early days when we were sending out resumes to clients, we would photocopy them all, type up our cover letter, put it together in a package, and courier it. Right. Then came the fax, where it's lots of admin. We'd get them all ready. It'd be a big stack because you might be sending 4 resumes, covers for each, and the resumes, just putting them through the fax machine. And it took time. Now, when we have an exclusive, it was different. But when there wasn't an exclusive, you wanted like a 20-minute difference. If a competitor sent the same candidate, 20 minutes made a difference. And so it was really important to get it out quick and efficiently. So, and now with email, it's even faster. So, and there's always a date stamp and a time stamp on it. So I think speed is a big change in terms of how we work, in
Yeah,
terms of getting
absolutely.
resumes out. Yeah.
Yeah. And you mentioned the fax machines, and I can only imagine like how much time that actually takes. You know, going there, doing all those things, and in 20 minutes, it, like you said, it makes a huge difference. And you've seen, recruiting obviously evolve through like the newspaper advertisements, the fax machine, like you mentioned, emails, LinkedIn, virtual interviews, and now AI. Which innovation do you think had the biggest impact on the profession, and why?
Which innovation? Well, again, it still was a slow evolution. In the early years, when we switched to computers or emailed resumes, they only went to the receptionist. We had to demand that, let's get a computer at our desk because we want to see them faster, because the receptionist would print them off and sort them. And then as we got more efficient with computers, the forms that candidates filled out would get more complex because we have checklists for all the software, and our data entry staff had to input that into the system. And that was the start there. But things have gotten, with just scanning and AI, things have improved substantially in terms of capturing the data that we want.
Mm-hmm.
We can upload a resume into our database, and everything is parsed into the system. And that's where I give a tip to candidates that too short of a resume isn't good, because we want
Mm-hmm.
your resume to fill in our database as fully as possible. And if they write a short resume and miss out some of the key skills that they have, we won't know.
Yeah, that's really true, and I think that's great advice for a candidate. So that way they're not kind of shooting themselves in the foot, right? They can put out all of their skill sets, and there could be some strategic kind of overlap or adjacent
Yes.
industries, perhaps. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so today, recruiters have access to LinkedIn, applicant tracking systems, AI, and more information than ever before, really. So back when you started, what did recruiters rely on instead?
Oh, our memory.
Yeah.
That's an easy one. It was our memory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, our little card, our index cards were really important. And like I had two boxes and that you'd flip through and you had to stay on top of them. When a person got a job, you shifted things around. But you would go back and look at those files at the file cabinet to remember people. And we kept the resumes. We kept files for a long time. So
Yeah. And would you say, Karen, that made recruiting harder or just different?
I would say just different.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Just
Yeah.
different. It used different skills than today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And so looking back, what part of recruiting has become significantly better over the years? And is there anything you think that we've lost along the way?
Well, we've lost that handshake.
Hmm.
The wimpy one or the strong one or there's so many social skills you miss.
Yeah.
I think Teams and virtual calls are great, but the body language, we don't see the body language in the same way. That tapping foot or shaking knee, we don't see that, and I think it is really important to really get to know someone. But the tools, we have incredible sourcing tools,
Mhm.
and I do think the video calls. I felt so bad when I had a job and a person had to trek in from Langley to meet me. They had to take a chunk out of their day to meet me, and I genuinely felt bad that they had to do all that, and not all of them would get a job from it. So, but the other thing that's cute now, I always chuckle. I've seen the interior of a lot of cars. People are interviewing from their cars, so it's kind of cute. But yeah, it's the loss is the face to face, the personal connection.
Yeah, and nothing beats that 3D element, right? Seeing people in person.
Yeah.
Do you think technology has made recruiters better at finding people, or has it simply just changed where the real work actually begins?
Um, I think it's incredible what AI is doing and sorting candidates, etc. Yeah, I think it's absolutely incredible how we can find people and across the country. I'm working with clients in Calgary and New Brunswick, and we can find candidates there, and AI can give we can put in quite a few details, way more than we could even 2 years ago. And so, yeah, technology is helping incredibly.
Yeah, definitely. And we often hear that today's workforce is completely different. After recruiting across multiple generations, do you think people have really changed that much, or are the fundamentals still the same?
I think each generation has some strengths and weaknesses, and that's a whole nother topic. But as a whole, I think people are the same. The requirements for jobs have changed. Those lower level, entry level jobs are gone. And so it's much more challenging for individuals to get into the workforce and build their careers.
Yeah, no, definitely. Um, and alongside that, technology can also tell us a lot about someone's experience. But what are you looking for that no resume or LinkedIn profile can ever tell you?
Um, well, the communication is a huge piece.
Hmm.
Are they engaging, welcoming?
Yeah.
Do they take control of the interview? Are they a listener? Is there a balance between small talk uh, and getting down to the nitty gritty? Here I am giving a long-winded answer, but do they answer the question that's been asked, or are they giving you so much background and that you're going, what was the question? So I'm looking for that person that's succinct, concise, communicates effectively, good eye contact, engaging, social, and that a piece of paper and LinkedIn can't figure out for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And over the years, has the importance of attitude, culture, and values become greater, or have they always mattered just as much as the technical skills?
Um, I think you always need both. Technical skills can be trained. So if you have that right person that's really going to fit with your team, that has the foundation of what you need, I would say you can train. And overall, I would say it would have said that 30 years ago as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that, Karen. And it's, I love that you said that the technical is something that you can train, because with the emotional, the EQ, and the attitude, that's something that you can't train,
You
right? So
can't
either
change.
you have it or you don't.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's amazing. And having worked with so many organizations over the years, what do the best hiring leaders that you've noticed
Mhm.
consistently understand about people and others that sometimes other people miss?
So my relationship with the hiring managers is during that spread of time where they're interviewing candidates. And I think the key two things that a candidate needs to feel when they come into an interview is valued and safe. If they feel safe and welcomed, a client is going to get better information from them than someone that comes down with a iron fist or
Mhm.
is too firm. So I think it's a welcoming. Um, we're human beings. We all have strengths and weaknesses, but connect with people as a human, and you will have success.
Amazing. And when you think about where recruitment is heading over the next decade, what excites you the most? And
Oh,
what do you hope that never changes?
that never changes. Oh, okay. Well, I think the piece I hope that never changes, and I hope that there will always be opportunity for that personal touch. But I am so excited with our firm currently has this incredible software for our applicant tracking system, and the as AI is introduced more and more to our sourcing tools and to our database, it's just exciting in terms of how much more productive and effective we are going to continue to be. And yeah, so I'm excited to be learning more about AI and how it's going to support. And I don't think it's going to take away from our need. I think over the years we thought, oh, LinkedIn's coming, they're not going to need us, they're not going to need us,
Mhm.
and I don't think that way anymore, because even with AI, there's a piece that AI just can't quite do yet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome, Karen. And that's very exciting. We're exciting times ahead. All right, so now we're going to move into what's called the rapid round. So if you've seen my
Okay.
podcasts, this is where I'm going to throw out a few questions, and these are just short answers, so blitz answers. So feel free to just say whatever comes to mind. Okay, are you ready?
All right, we'll try.
Awesome. All right, the first one is hire for attitude or experience.
Attitude.
One interview question every hiring manager should ask.
Well, I always use the reason for leaving because I can read a lot into their attitude there. But a longer one would be, uh, if something goes wrong, how would you handle it?
Awesome. One hiring myth that you've never believed.
Don't take the first job. Don't take the first candidate. Weigh them each. Weigh your job, weigh the candidate out as an individual. Don't wait for comparisons.
LinkedIn or old school networking.
I don't know. I think you need both.
Awesome, that's good. And Karen, I have one final question for you. So, after watching this profession evolve for more than 3 decades, if there was one lesson about hiring people that you'd want every leader listening today to remember, what would that be?
Well, I think it goes back to that earlier question. Everybody is a human being, needs to be treated like a human being with respect and to feel valued.
Amazing. Karen, today's conversation has been a wonderful reminder that while recruiting has changed enormously over the years, the heart of great hiring really hasn't. Technology, of course, will continue to evolve, new tools will emerge, and the way that we connect with candidates will keep changing. But the ability to understand people, build relationships, and make thoughtful hiring decisions remains just as important today as it was 20 years ago. So, thank you so much for sharing your experiences and giving us a fascinating look at how the profession has evolved, and perhaps more importantly, what great leaders should never lose sight of. And thank you, everyone, listening to the HR Hot Seat. If you enjoyed today's conversation, we'd love it if you share it with a colleague, your HR team, or another leader who is passionate about building great organizations. Until next time, thanks for listening.
Thanks, Lisa. It was fun.